What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. Today is an end of the year review of the Trek FX2 disc 2023. I purchased this in March at the beginning of the year. It was $799. On top of that, actually it was $750. And then on top of that, I bought the lifetime flat, which we will cover later in this review, for a grand total of $850. So today, this is an end of the year review. A couple of months ago, I did a 6-month review. That video was okay. This one, I really plan on being thorough and comprehensive and conclusive. So if this is a bike you're looking at purchasing this holiday shopping season for somebody else, yourself, or for the new year to meet some of those fitness resolution goals, this is a really good bike to look at. But also in this video, what this bike is not good for. Also, we're in the city here, so just be aware that there will be some loud noises. There's an industrial facility across from us, and then behind us we've got some railroad tracks, and then also behind us is an airport. You will hear videos or planes taking off from time to time. But let's go ahead and continue on with the Trek FX2 disc end of the year review, where after riding this for 8 or 9 months, I'm going to give you my thoughts. So the first thing you'll notice is I've got some earplugs in, and the reason I bought this bike was actually because on Trek's website, they recommend purchasing this bike to commute with. If you're on a budget, this is a good option. There are better options, but this is a pretty good one. Doing my daily commutes to work, getting in traffic, what I did find out I needed riding the bike was earplugs. They're inexpensive and they can protect your hearing. The suggestion is to buy earplugs. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the bike itself. So the surroundings here you'll see are pretty flat. I live in Florida, and today is actually a really good example of a day, how windy it is. You can also probably hear the wind. Now, this is a situation on Trek's website they would consider a windy flat. So actually looking for bikes online at trek.com, the Amanda is a model that I looked at, this Trek FX2, and also the Domain and the Madone all advertise, or at least the Amanda does, the ability to bicycle along windy flats. Now, in the city, if you're just a couple of miles from things, you know, this bike is a great commuter bike. It's great to run errands on, but out on the open road, windy flats is, you know, what I strongly recommend against using this bike for. If you're gonna get the Trek FX2, like I said, around the city, going just a couple of miles, you know, cutting through parking lots, it's a ton of fun. It almost has like this BMX look. You kind of stunt on it a little bit, just the way it rides and the way it handles. But like I said, usually that type of riding is done in short spurts. This is a very fast bike, by the way. If you do find yourself in the road with traffic, you can get away, you can get out of it. It's competent that way. But for a long endurance ride on long windy flats, this is not the bike. It's tough, it's heavy, it's 25 pounds. The Amanda is at least 5 pounds less. Riding in conditions called windy flats is what Trek will refer to them as. The FX2 disc, probably not the best. Either way, stay hydrated. One other thing that happened riding this bike in the past 8 months was I actually got this bike serviced maybe 5 times. Yeah, we'll say about 5 times is my service history for this Trek. Now, what exactly have I serviced on it in the 8 months? Because I do commute with it daily. And what I can say is, thankfully, nothing crucial yet. Well, actually, at the very beginning, I did attempt to lubricate the chain with WD-40. And actually, what had happened was the rear brake was affected. The WD-40 corroded the rear brake, effectively decreasing my ability to stop. And so what I actually had to do was get the brake pads replaced. Fortunately, not the disc, not the rotor, just the pads, which was inexpensive. I think they were $14. Actually, $14 for the pads, and then after labor, because I don't yet know how to change the brake pads. I know how they're done. I know what to do, the process. But anyway, it was $40 for that. So in total, when getting this bike serviced or repaired, it's still cheaper than a car, yes. But then again, you know, some of those parts, because they are just inexpensive, just the whole nature of, you know, a mode of transportation, not a car, just the whole price of it. Some of these parts do wear just a little bit faster and maybe are just a little bit more sensitive, as opposed to, say, you know, an automobile where you can drive it over potholes and, you know, the tire might be wobbly, but you can still get down the road with it. So, what else have I had serviced? Well, aside from the brake pads, I have also needed a tune-up because the shifting was misfiring. So the tune-up at the Trek store was $100. And on top of that, even though on Trek's website they say that this is a good bike for commuting in the city, it might not actually be, unless you're careful with it and consider it, because just a month ago, actually, I was riding home from work and I noticed the rear tire was wobbly. And so I got home and I removed it and attempted to put the tire back on, but realized the bearing on the rear tire was crunchy, screwing the rear tire back on. And I thought that was strange. And what eventually ended up having to be done was a hub rebuild. And this hub rebuild cost $50. It was a $40 fee. So with the tune-up and the hub rebuild, I ended up paying $150. I got the rebuild and I got a tune-up at the same time for the shifting. The issue with the shifter, which not sure if that was really the truth or not. I think they were kind of just trying to get me to offset maybe some additional costs with having to rebuild the rear hub. But what I can say about that was riding in the city, do be considerate, because riding over like curbs and bumps and stuff, this bike, yes, does have a weight capacity of 300 pounds. But the impact, the force of impact has got to be close to that 300 pounds with heavy items in your backpack. So even if you're on the bike and you've got maybe 5 pounds or maybe even 10 pounds or 15 pounds of items in your backpack, or maybe you've got the rear rack and you've got about 15 items or 15 pounds worth of items on the back of the bike, if you do go over curbs and bumps or something like that, because the city can be, rough to ride in, do just be careful of, that rear hub back there, which is the reason I think I needed to get it replaced. So I got the rear hub replaced. With that being said, just, if you're thinking about, getting this bike, just do be cognizant of how you manage your weight. Like a mountain bike would probably handle that amount of impact better than something like this FX2. So a couple of months ago, I said about this bike, it's really an in-between bike. So it's fast like a road bike. It's not as efficient as a road bike, but it's fast like a road bike. But you do still retain a little bit of that, ruggedness of the mountain bike with the wider tires. So it's really a good in-between bike, which is, what they refer to this as, a hybrid bike, but not good as a road bike, like I said earlier, for those windy flats, and not as good for that high impact scenario like a mountain bike is. So just be cognizant of that. I did have to get the rear hub rebuilt because of just poor weight management on my part, going over heavy stuff with heavy things in my backpack like that. I didn't exceed the weight limit of the bike, which is 300 pounds, but I think, combined, the impact force was probably 300 pounds or so, maybe exceeding it there, causing me to have to get the hub rebuilt. All in all, just absolutely love riding this bike. It is so true and just easy to ride. It makes you want to upgrade it. So I guess, at the end of the year, I've pretty much talked about or have been able to summarize the capabilities of this bike, what to expect, how to ride it, how to not ride it. I guess the only thing left to actually talk about is what I plan on doing to this bike as the new year approaches, going into next year. And you can do actually a couple of really cool things with this bike. What I plan on doing with this bike is actually upgrading the pedals. So on trek.com you can get pedals for this bike. Of course, Trek sells something called the U-Line. They sell a Trek branded pedal, and they also sell a Shimano pedal. The Shimano, I think, is what I would probably get. They are the most expensive, and there is a reason for that, and it's because the drivetrain itself is Shimano. So having a Shimano pedal connected to the arm which drives the Shimano drivetrain, I think would probably be the best fit, as opposed to purchasing a Bontrager pedal or some kind of Trek U-Line Pro pedal which they sell. And I think the second upgrade I plan on making next year is a water bottle cage, and last but most importantly not least, a really good helmet. So helmets at the Trek store, they can cost $300, which is crazy for a helmet, but it's not crazy because it will make you a smarter rider. So, speaking of some of these trade secrets here, a helmet will make you a smarter rider. The earplugs will make you a more focused rider, and also the flare will make you an overall more well-balanced rider. And actually, just one thing I wanted to kind of tell you about this flare here real quick. It's actually funny because when I ride past people, if I'm on the road, I always have this nagging thought in my head that people are talking about me riding my bike, right? After all, I mean, who in their right mind would, you know, ride their bike to work every day? It's really just for a handful of people, unfortunately. Not everyone can, ride their bike to work every day. So what I like about the flare is when you see me riding by, you do kind of get shot in the eye a little bit here with this flare. And that helps me just focus a little bit more on getting to where I need to go. If you've actually watched the Tour de France, people on the side of the road will honk horns, jingle bells, holler, have signs, and that's just sort of an homage to riding your bike and training on your bike and being a bike rider. That's what you can expect to be. That's what you can expect to feel riding a bike, especially if it's a trek and you ride it every single day and you really put yourself out there. It will put you out there because it's that good and that enjoyable to ride. So that is just a end of the year review of the Trek FX2 disc. In summary of this review, my recommendation is to purchase earplugs, an Apple Watch is also a good addition. If you don't want to purchase a dedicated trip computer, I do recommend purchasing a dedicated trip computer, but the Apple Watch does a good job of calculating average speed. It's a GPS, so you can see where you're going. I would get that as well. That is something I actually did not mention in this review, was the Apple Watch. But nevertheless, we talked about getting the hub rebuilt. We talked about, the types of environment you want to ride the FX2 disc. Out here on a windy flat, on the open road, going anywhere more than 10 miles one way, you want a road bike. If you're in the city and you're going somewhere under 10 miles there and under 10 miles back, I think that's really the limit for this Trek FX2 disc, is a 20-mile round trip. Going anything over 20 miles, it's gonna be tough. You're gonna suffer. But also, we talked about that rear hub getting rebuilt. This is less capable than a mountain bike riding through the city when it comes to impact resistance. The FX2 disc, though, is just a really good combination of fast and rugged at the same time. So after 8 months, what I recommend is, last but most importantly not least, getting the lifetime flat. If you're purchasing a bike like this for yourself or someone else this holiday shopping season, you or that person will ride this bike frequently, and you will get caught with a flat tire. So what I recommend actually is getting the lifetime flat, because I was riding the other day, and I was riding through a parking lot actually and rode over a nail, but luckily I was along the main road and was able to catch the bus to the Trek store. The bus does have a bike rack on it, and with the lifetime flat, you walk into the store, they change the flat, put slime in the tire, whatever they do, whatever they need to do, and off you go, free of charge, which was fantastic. So if you're purchasing this bike for yourself or someone else, do purchase the lifetime flat. It actually allows you to ride the bike without a spare tube, without having to carry around a spare tube, because if you do get a flat, if you're lucky enough like me, you can either catch the bus, put the bike on the bike rack, or maybe, hey, if you've got your phone, call an Uber, take it to the Trek store and have them swap it out and ride the bike home. So that has been an 8-month end of the year review of the Trek FX2 disc. I really hope you enjoyed watching this. My name's John. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below for more, and I will see you in the next video.